Good afternoon, everyone, and it's a pleasure to be here on this platform, and I would like to thank Dr. Anurag Batra for giving me this opportunity. And while I want to do that, but also the fact is that, it's very difficult to be conducting dialogue especially after lunch. So, but there is something interesting that I'm going to do is that there is, there are these mentors on on your table. Will you be kind enough to kind of get hold of one of these? And let me tell you one thing, that I'll make sure that you don't sleep for the next 15 minutes, because 15 minutes is what I have. And I want you to take through an experience basically with this mentors. I'll request everybody to take hold of a mentors, please. Because we are talking about experiential marketing, and for experiential marketing, I mean, the best thing that a food industry has is your presence. So what we are going to do is we're going to use your presence. Okay, so we're going to use all our 5 senses to have this mentors. And literally, dimag ki batti jalane wala hai ye. Let me assure you that. So, okay, we start with seeing this and listening to the ruffle sound. What I want you to do is pop it. I don't know whether you know that you can pop, one second, pop Mentos. Let me show you. Hopefully I'll be able to do it. No, I couldn't. Try it. You can actually do it. You can pop a Mentos. Once you pop it, have somebody been able to pop it? Okay, great. Smell it. And most of you, I'm sure, with Delhi pollution right now, I don't think you will be able to smell orange if it's an orange candy, or a mint if it's a Mentos candy. But nevertheless, after you smell it, just one request, and it's going to be a challenge for you, is not to chew it. Just keep it in your mouth and close your eyes for 10 seconds and try and see what kind of flavors are you getting. Most of you will not be able to kind of identify that there are a lot of artificial flavors also in it. And most of you will, and some of you will be able to do that. But, okay, so, that is what I was telling everybody, that this is the advantage that restaurants have, and other businesses where you need to be physically present, right? And today, as I speak on experiential dining, I use the word as made alt, because in my own business, where I run FabCafes, I ensure that everything that we are doing is made alt. It's alternate grains that we are using, which is traditionally, for example, we don't use white rice, we don't use wheat flour, we don't use, we use desi ghee, so it's, so that is what we are using it as a hook. In fact, I wanted people to eat healthy. That's why we also say at FabCafe, eat well, feel good, for example. Okay, now, so I think, food is such a vast topic that you can go on and on in terms of talking about food. And the good thing is that we all connect when it comes to food, because we all experience it on a daily basis. And so, like all the other industries, I think what is most difficult, when we say experiential marketing, I would like to rephrase it as, very conscious marketing, because that is what you have to do. You have to engage a person consciously. Therefore, in food also, when we talk about cuisine and when we talk about the dining experience, we have to not only look at food today, we have to look at the other aspects as well. So I'd like to start my presentation here, and what I've done is I've kind of, as I said, that I could be lecturing on this or talking on this topic for an hour, but I had to squeeze it to as small presentation as I could. I'm going to take you through, through certain aspects of what experiential dining is, and I'll run the presentation also with it. So one of the aspects that you tend to use when you are entertaining is giving an immersive environment, and restaurants are creating these days all sort of immersive environments, including things like making you sit in a jail. And in fact, this restaurant, they make you here you don't see it, but they offer you jail clothes also before you kind of have your food as well. So immersive environments, from immersive environments perspective, I don't know whether any of you, for example, have had food while you are up in the air. Wow, just 2 people. Anyone who's had food under water in a restaurant where it's all covered? So okay, so my idea here was to, excuse me please. So my idea here was to take you through an alternate experiences that you kind of see when you are when you're experiencing food. And today there is a lot of developments in this field as well. So this is what I was talking about when it comes to dining underwater. This is all pictures that I've shared with you are all from India. So this is another immersive environment. So this is a plane basically, Boeing 747, and you must have seen while you were traveling in highways these days, you probably have seen that. Apart from that, there is interactive dining also, which is today if you see, so this is again an example of immersive dining. It's inside a cave, and so this is interactive dining. So today, as I said, when there are people, when we have a customer or a guest, like to say, when we have a guest at our restaurant or at our space, we are lucky enough to have them physically there. So you have to today, as we speak, you have to target all their senses, whether it is the ears, whether it is the eyes, whether it is the nose, and so on and so forth, and also engage them if we can. So it's here. This is from one of the restaurants where you presented a grill, and you can grill your own snacks, which is very common. The teppanyaki grill, for example, started from Japan, but it's very easy to experience this, and the chefs also like to engage customers when they are serving them or when they are feeding them. Then there is a multi-sensory experience where we try and create a wow factor, for example. Also amongst the, amongst them in terms of the multi-sensory exposure, there is, you must have heard about El Bulli, you must have heard about, the molecular gastronomy, for example, that two visual projections, for example. This is a cake, And so you're playing around with all senses here in this case. For example, whether it's your tongue, whether it's your ears, whether it's your nose, and making it very, very interesting as well. So apart from that today technology integration is playing a big role when it comes to restaurants. So there's augmented reality, there is virtual reality. In fact, today as we speak, there are softwares which now does face recognition, and then you're able to kind of track your customer as to when he was last here, what did he eat. That kind of technological advancements as well. So other thing is the pop-up experience. So in terms of pop-up also, it's becoming very, very very engaging, very interesting, very exciting, not only for the guests, the customers, but also for the chefs, because they are able to they're able to showcase their art in a very different manner, in a very engaging manner, for example. So this is also a pop-up thing. So one thing that, a disclaimer that I would like to put here. So I like to speak in English. So, and this is a marketing presentation, and I'm sure there are people who are, who are very proficient with their stage presence. I am not as much, so please excuse me. The other thing is that the storytelling and culinary narratives. Today, when we say this, we are also talking about, we're also talking about being local, farm to fork, using ingredients which, or ingredients where you're talking about sustainability, where you're talking about, being responsive, responsible as well. So, and that also brings, I'd also like to highlight something here as well, is that today, in terms of trends that you see, people are getting very conscious of, what, not only what they are eating, where it is coming from, and what is the impact that it has on environment. So if I was to tell you the culinary trends of 2023, for example, okay, so let me put a question here. How many of you know that there are restaurants which are absolutely, it's raw, they don't cook anything at all? I don't think anybody would have experienced such kind of a restaurant, but there are restaurants today, and they are becoming quite common basically, where nothing is cooked. Everything that is served is raw. There is no heat which is used in cooking. Of course, there are restaurants which are, you must have heard about vegan restaurants, for example, where people are, they don't eat anything which has animal or animal products in it, even if there is honey in it, for example. And while, few people might think that it's a fad, but it is not. Scientifically, if you see, if you dig deep, you will be able to understand that there are reasons behind what people are doing, and when it comes to food. For example, there are people who are going off grains as well. They follow paleo diets apart from the vegan food that people consume. One misnomer, or one problem with the, I personally feel that way, is that the people feel that if they don't eat non-vegetarian food, they'll not get their protein, and in fact that's not true. You can you cannot, I mean, even if you're a vegan, even if you're on a paleo diet, it's not, it's, you see naturally, if you see animals, if you see a bison, if you see an elephant, I mean, they're eating grass, and, they are very powerful animals, and, protein is something which is, in our case, in human beings, it's not necessary for one to eat animal protein. I mean, there are various products, mushrooms, for example, which is becoming very common. Apart from mushrooms, there are jackfruit, for example. So we were the first ones to do a jackfruit flour momo. And in our restaurant, if you go in FabCafes, if you visit FabCafes these days, you will you'll not see, you'll get a chapati basically, which is a multigrain chapati. We were using millets much before Modi ji announced millet year of millets basically, and that is the kind of a alt dining experience that we give. I would like to tell here that also what I feel is that in terms of giving, I would like to highlight here also that the experience that we are talking about, the experiential dining that we are talking about, I think that is there is there for the upper middle and the elite, but I think that is missing when it comes to the masses basically. And that is where I am curating something which will take care of that. And because I feel that, yeah, experiential dining has a lot to do with your engaging all your senses and using your hands to eat. For example, I love to eat with my hands wherever I get an opportunity, because it makes a difference. So I could be speaking again a lot on this topic, but here we are for, primarily we're talking about experiential marketing. So as I said earlier, I feel that when it comes to food, it is more about, getting the attention of the customer and, engaging all the senses here, and tickling the brain to kind of force one to give you more attention is what I feel that experiential dining is also going towards that. So today, earlier, a restaurant could do extremely well with just good food. Today, that's only a part of it, and experiential dining is extremely important for, and those aspects. For example, again, I'll come back to FabCafe, where we made sure that, we have all the three, four elements of, of a feel-good factor, apart from good food, is greenery, for example. So we have a lot of plants in our cafes. Wood, so all our furniture is wood, and natural light, because it is again a feel-good factor. So thank you everyone for lending me your ears and hearing me very, very attentively. And it was a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you so much